Font face. This is one of those things I don't use, but everyone's really into it, so I'm going to teach it, even though I, as a non-designer, I actually don't think Comic Sans is that hideous. Don't shoot me. I'm not a designer, right? Okay. I think apparently not. I think it's bad, but I don't think it's like, I don't have a visceral reaction when I see it. So font face, it's an @ rule. So like our @ media, right? Our @ supports. Did we cover any others today? No, I think that was, oh, @ viewport we covered. Okay. Now we have @ font face. And the thing is, you guys probably never really thought about the @ rules, right? And look how many we're learning. This is so exciting. So, so when you include a font face, you actually create this rule. And what you'll notice is a lot of the @ rules are basically, we are going to contain information in this section that is kind of one step removed from the CSS. So this is, with @ font face, we actually declare a font family that we can then use. So here we've used it in our HTML just like we always would. It's just a word that you've never seen. You know Arial, you know sans serif, but you've never heard of font blah. So we're going to create font blah. The first step is putting the @ rule, the beginning and end, the opening bracket and closing bracket. That's step number 1. Then you use font family. And in the @ rule for font face, you use the same property, name, as you do here. But there you're creating it, and here you're using it. Does that make sense? Okay. Then you say, hey, because Microsoft, you do the declaration for Microsoft first on one line. And that's all you put. And old Microsoft is EOT files. That's it. That's all they support. And then on the next line, you repeat the same gibberish. And you put a question mark with IE fix, because we need to fix IE. IE sees the pound mark, stops reading forward. It just thinks everything else is just a hash. It stops reading all the way to the semicolon. And then you put all the other files that you need to create. And so we'll cover creating them in a minute. And so this is your declaration for including the file. And this basically says the source of my font is either blah EOT, blah WAF, blah TTF, or blah SVG. Then you tell it font style normal and font weight normal, or it could be font weight bold or whatever. This is why I don't use fonts. Because here I'm saying this font blah is font weight normal, font style normal, which means I have to import a different font file if I want bold, a different font file if I want italic, and a separate one if I want both bold and italic. That's 4 separate fonts. If you've ever looked at your fonts in your font files on your computer, you have like 27 different Arials or something ridiculous like that. I made that number up, but you really don't have 27. I don't know what it is. OK, normally I wouldn't correct myself, but I'm on videotape, so I have to pretend I'm not talking about it. Yeah.
Couldn't you just reference the font face blah from another class or something, and then in there apply italic or weight or whatever? Would that not pass on?
So a font, there's a difference between font and a typeface. So a typeface is actually Arial or sans serif, but a font is an actual file. And if you look at the font files that you have, you will actually have New Times Roman italic, New Times Roman bold, New Times Roman as different font files. So you actually have to pull those files in. The browser will try to make it Arial and will try to make it bold, but if you actually have a designer looking at this, they will know the difference. They'll be like, that anti-aliasing on that K is wrong. And you're like, I don't care, because Comic Sans is OK by me. So if you guys all start liking Comic Sans, then your designers will just stop leaving you alone. They're like, you got it close enough. Just don't put Comic Sans in. And you're like, OK, cool. So then, now that you've included it, you can reference it and use it. So let's go through the syntax again. And this is not updated for 10. But as you see, 9 supports E, started supporting TTF. and WAF, so I just don't know if 9 is supporting SVG. But no other browser is ever going to support EOT. Only Microsoft supports EOT. So it's not like we have to worry about these not supporting EOT. What we really just need to do is use TTF. But notice that we're still at 9, so we still need to include EOT. And then iOS mobile originally was just SVG. So if you're still supporting the first iPhone, I believe you still have to support SVG. And SVG is kind of cool, so I wish that all of them supported it, because you can actually just use SVG and write your own SVG. But so the syntax again is font face, and then you declare the family name that you make up. Then you give the source, and there's that syntax. And I'm going to show you a service online, so you never have to write that. You never have to handwrite that, ever. Then font weight, font style, and character set. And character set is really cool, and I'm going to show you why in about 2 minutes. But I'm first going to go over a few other things, and then we'll cover the automatic generation.